Hello, guys. This is Off the Record with Luke Eccles, and today we have the most beautifully talented Jules Marie.
Hey guys, what's up?
The Jules Marie.
The Jules Marie.
The Jules Marie.
In the flesh.
In the flesh. How are you doing, girl?
I'm good. I'm excited. Episode 5?
Episode 5.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm excited, and it's an honor to be here.
I've been gunning for you since I started it, so yeah.
Well, this is not our first podcast together.
We won't talk about the other one. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Celso and I had a podcast a while ago called Sweaterheads.
Sweaterheads.
And Jules was the first guest on our podcast.
Still available on the internet.
Still
go find
somewhere
it.
out there.
Don't go find
Cancel us. I dare you. So what have you been up to live music-wise? What was the last show you played?
So I actually just played Molly's a couple weeks ago. I'm still doing a lot of cover band gigs. I have a show tomorrow. It's my first acoustic set with my better half. We are doing just a duo.
Originals or covers?
All covers still.
Okay.
A lot of 90s grunge, 2000s, stuff like that.
Okay. Just you singing or him?
It's me singing.
Okay.
He is going to do one of his originals from his band Dawning, but then I'm also going to do one of my originals. Our plan is to kind of work the originals in the more we go. So that's what I used to do with the Jules Marie original gigs. I used to do a lot more performing as Jules Marie, but lately it's been a lot of cover gigs.
Gotcha. Now you are in the Hammer-Ons.
Yes.
Now, tell me what cover gig bands you have. And then we'll
I'm in technically 4 bands. So the Hammer-Ons is one. That is a cover band. They do everything from, top 40 hits, 2000s, 90s, 60s to now.
Right.
And then...
Same with you a couple times.
Yeah, actually, you've come up on a couple of
And
them.
some Justin Bieber, some...
No, he's on some screaming. Don't let him
done
fool
that
you.
too.
Don't let him fool you. But yeah, no, it's been fun. That's really a lot of fun. I love playing Molly's. The crowd there is awesome. And that's the best part about doing, free gigs like that where it's not ticketed. People, they're going to come anyway, but they're going to come more.
Yeah, you have a built-in crowd.
Yes, exactly.
Hopefully.
Normally, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. That's one thing that's very noticeable about Molly McGuire's is you definitely
Town
need,
hotspot.
It's a town hotspot, but also you kind of need. There's a certain sound that fits there.
I've seen some bands not do as well there, but luckily for us, I know every time we're gonna have a good crowd.
Well, you guys are, you guys have a good presence. You guys have a decent following. Everybody in the band is from this area, so but also I feel like I've noticed the type of music you guys cover is like it's definitely much more of a younger crowd there.
Actually, you'd be surprised.
It's mixed. It's just a certain, like, you got to be playing the upbeat, like 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then some of the pop going into now. I've seen bands that will do like a light version of that genre, and then they do like classic rock or like something else.
That's one of my other, so that I do see that a lot because I'm in another cover band, so segueing into the other bands that I'm in. It's called Exit 31, and that was the first band I was ever in, and they are completely classic rock.
Okay.
And so the vibe that comes out for that kind of show is more, your mom, dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of age group. And then
Great in Berks County type of bars
you'd
like
be
that where it's a little bit.
Surprised, though. You'd be really surprised like who you end up having come out. But yeah, cover gigs are great for that. People will come out. The transition then becomes, how do you get the same type of people to show up for you when it's your original music?
That is the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is the game. So you've got 2 cover bands, just 2 cover bands you're in?
So 3, technically. So it's the Hammer-Ons. Tacos for Breakfast, I wouldn't call them a cover band. So Tacos for Breakfast started out as an original jam band.
Right.
So we all got together. We met in Phoenixville. We used to play these jam nights down in the basement at PJ's.
Right.
And rest in peace, Charlie was one of the people who actually got our band together. He really was into the music scene. He would be at every single karaoke.
Yeah, he always asked me a lot about my music.
Yeah, he was always, and he really wanted us to get together, and we just did. We practiced at Shay's house. And so long story short, we started learning some of my originals. And it wasn't learning my originals. It was they would jam, and I would just bring up my lyrics in my little notes section on my phone and just sing whichever one stuck. And so it's an original music band at heart. a jam band for sure at heart. Those guys can jam for 10 minutes long and they don't need me. They don't need a vocalist, but they wanted one so that we could really be a band.
Right.
And so it's a jam band, but it's an original music band. And the covers is how we get booked. So that's the segue there is like, you do kind of need covers at first to start building where you can perform.
Right.
Because a lot of places are only looking for cover bands because they know, like we said, that's what brings people out. People, they want to hear the songs they know. They like having a good time listening to the songs they know.
They want to sing along,
Exactly. And, trying to get someone to go out of the box a little bit for something they don't know.
Right.
Unless you're a very genre niched artist, like, for example, I'll use, like I said, my better half as the example. He's very nu metal. That's a niche.
Right.
If you go outside of that, you might not find anybody who's as interested, but people who like nu metal are going to like your music because you sound like all the other nu metal. And that goes for almost every genre. I'm a very multi-genre artist. People will put me in the pop box, but I've never really identified as one.
You jam out way better to not.
What do you actually? That's a great question. What do you think my voice fits as? Because you're a good person to ask. You've heard a good range of the types of songs.
So you kind of remind me of I don't mean like style wise, but like the vibe and your versatility of like Pink and like Kelly Clarkson, especially
Kelly Clarkson.
Well, especially now, I don't know if you've been paying attention to her show, but
I love her. She just did the Olympics too, and everybody was hating on her for some of her comments. I was like, that's just her personality. She's just really sitting there like talking like she would, Yeah.
And one of the things I like about her show is she has a live music aspect to it, which is what we're going to be doing here.
She does the karaoke, the Kellyoke.
Yeah, the karaoke. But like where I first saw her show was she did a session with Teddy Swims.
Oh, really?
They did Lose Control, which I've been listening to Teddy Swims for 2 years now.
That's a
so
really good song.
I honestly and it's funny because like that album that came out with that song on it, like that whole album is just a banger.
I'm gonna look it up later.
It's so good. Wow. There's a couple other singles on there that'll probably like
anything Kelly touches.
You can listen to you can put this down right now. Probably we can pull this up later, but like there are probably a couple on there that will be his next hits. Hits. Yeah. I can't remember the name. There's one song that I absolutely know will be a hit on there.
Teddy Swims.
But Teddy Swims. But she did Lose Control live with him, and I've never really listened to a lot of her stuff since she came out early 2000s when she got big.
When was she on American Idol?
Like probably 2000s.
When was American Idol? Because that was it for me. I remember, and see, that's another whole other conversation we can have about music is those shows.
Yeah.
I did very well. I went, got callbacks, and it is a very...
It's a rat race.
It's a scripted show. I've been in that side of the industry too, in like the film and TV side, to know that it's a show. You have casting agents for that show.
Absolutely.
And what they said to me wasn't wrong. I did not have enough confidence. There's no way I could have been on a TV show. No matter how good you are, if you don't have the presence.
It's funny because like you could be the most amazing.
Maybe I could do it
singer.
now, but at this point,
one day. Listen, you don't push the.
If I'm on American Idol or The Voice next season, we'll say it would never.
It doesn't have to be those shows though. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's why at this point I've been doing it independently for this long, and I've seen people have success doing it the way that we're doing it. I'm pretty sure you're independent fully, right? Yeah.
And that's another thing is sometimes like I know I've watched interviews with artists that got really big on those shows, but honestly not winning American Idol or The Voice. I mean, people don't realize this, and this is something we cover. I've started to delve into with these episodes. Is the music business behind everything? Is when you're talking about like a big show, like you said, big production, big corporate executives. They're making. You don't get to make any decisions. You could say something they don't want you to say, and that's getting cut out. So sometimes people that really a great who's the comic Drew Lynch. He was on America's Got Talent. Okay. He's a comedian who he had a really cool story. He used to be kind of like a douchebag jock. He played baseball. He took a right fielder fly up ball. It bounced and hit him in the neck.
I think I see.
And he ended up getting like a concussion from falling or something like that. And long story short, he developed a really bad stutter, and he was, went through the depression of just not being able to do
overcame
sports.
his stutter and did it. I think I saw
But he was still doing comedy with a stutter, and he worked it into his stuff. Now, he didn't go crazy far with, I can't remember, I think it was like America's Got Talent, one of those.
But having that exposure.
And the fact that he took his social media, because he was like, I don't have money, I'm not making money, but he treated it like it was a job. And he's like, okay. And then he started really taking over his social media. So he does now he does live stand up. I've seen him at Helium. He's got a huge following on his channel. He really captured the social media, and honestly, it probably wouldn't have worked out well for him if he got signed to some huge talent company, because
they would have taken over. Yeah,
you've heard of these 360 deals, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's not even get into the industry.
So like you're talking about so sometimes you got that training, you got that experience of what it's like to be on one of those big things. So you never know, you might get some sort of opportunity for some other smaller upcoming show that's filmed in downtown Phoenixville.
The exposure
you never know.
alone and having that as a credential on your resume is great.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you don't, and that's another thing is like you don't hear about a lot of people that
because of one of the things that you said though. It's when you start treating it like a job and actually putting the work in. The difference is the people who put the work in. That's why I went like this while you were talking, and because it's very inspiring to just kind of have that reminder of like the work you put into it is what you're going to get out. And I know for a fact I probably in the last few years, I mean, I haven't released anything original in the last few years, and so I know I probably haven't put in that work. So that's just goes to show that if you do
content,
things might happen.
Yeah, I listen. I have a friend from high school, Shay Wilbur, who
I know Shay.
You know Shay?
Yeah, we're friends on Facebook. I don't know how I know Shay, but I do know that name.
You need to message her. But yeah, she used to sit behind me in like my classes in high school, and she used to torture me. I used to torture her. But amazing voice. Her dad was actually a professional musician, and she went on to America's Got Talent. It was like early season, like early 2000s, and she didn't get. I want to say she got to like third place. She got far.
Did well, yeah.
But she didn't get signed. But she ended up getting a personality job at a news company in Jacksonville, Florida, where she lived. And then it turned into her doing segments for E. Mm-hmm. And then she was working with Mario Lopez. So I often troll her. I talked about this in the last episode with my last guest. Grew up with her as well. But that's another thing is like people, especially musicians, one of the things that really pushes us is we're hard on ourselves. Mm-hmm. But also sometimes we forget that just because you didn't win that one opportunity, like doesn't mean there isn't another opportunity or something to capture from it and really push.
Yeah, being hard on yourself is a blessing and a curse.
It really is.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got those 3 cover bands.
Right, and okay, so the original music band, that's also a jam band, that's kind of a cover band, Tacos for Breakfast. Yeah. So we've done Hammer-Ons. Thank you. Yeah, there's a Cigarettes for Breakfast band that's a completely different genre, and they're doing really well. And I'm like, we haven't done anything with tacos. No one's going to remember tacos. Cigarettes is going to be big by the time. Shout out to them. They're pretty great.
Arguably more addicting than tacos. Arguably.
But not as good for you.
No, the tacos are way better for you than cigarettes.
Cigarettes are terrible for you. Rat poison. Better for you than cigarettes? No, because we're not trying to take away from them.
All right.
Anyway, so the Hammer-Ons, Exit 31.
Music needs B4s. We need more B4s. No. It can't just be Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Come on.
Yeah, I guess the publicity that would come from it would be the wrong kind, though. Yeah. No. But anyway, so the Hammer-Ons, Exit 31, Tacos for Breakfast, Children of Adam Band, which I haven't been with them in a little while, but they're
the world music.
Yeah, 10 members now. I think
you need to let me know when you guys are playing, because I feel like I need to see. I feel like that's an experience.
It's definitely, it's awesome. It's really awesome. I love them. And then I do my own original music, right. And now Sound Vessel is the duo with me and Brandon. So that's
6 bands. Yeah,
I don't even know. Plus, do you count Jules Marie? Jules Marie doesn't have a Jules Marie band yet. We need just any volunteers for musicians who want to be in the Jules Marie band so that we can book Jules Marie songs. Yeah.
The Jules Marie band.
Not the Jules Marie band.
All right.
The Jules.
It's working on the branding.
It would be the anyway to make it rhyme with Jules Marie. You'd have to say the, not the.
What's something that is your muse that like is there a band or a song that you can listen to at any point? And so like for me, old Live Counting Crows stuff, like that first Live Across the Wire album, I can sit down, especially like the slower sad stuff, like I can sit down and listen to it, and it just gives me, you can coin this, the tummy. Like it just gives you like that feeling in your gut that like
you're like, ooh. Yeah.
You're like, ooh, it gets me in that mood to write.
Yeah.
What is there something that what's your muse? Like what pushes you? And this is something I've been trying to think about a lot lately, because
I love this.
As you get older,
yeah,
and the more responsibilities you have, and this could happen even if you're doing music professionally. Like I listened to an interview with Anthony Green from Circus Survive. He's got like three kids,
performing all the time.
3 kids. He's married. He's in like more bands than you are. I think he's in he's in like 6 or 7 different touring bands.
Yeah, good for him.
So like when he has time to sit down and write music, it's not a luxury. It's a like, I got to do something right now. So it's something I've been thinking about after I listened to that interview, especially for me. Like you know, everybody has a lot of external things going on right now in life, especially this summer with like our group of friends. There's always shit going on.
Always.
So I think finding out, that's something I've been thinking about, is there something that I can dial in? Is it a music? Is it like watching something that makes me write? And for me, like I'm kind of like reflecting back on things that I listen to that really inspire me to write and sit down. A lot of times it's just quiet.
Writing's weird. Yeah. Writing is weird because I thought I had it down to like the way that I loved doing it.
Right.
And then my truck got taken away. So I was in that accident. That truck was where I wrote almost every song. And it was my space. Like, I don't know why. There was something, that tummy feeling you're talking about. There was something.
Your brain would anchor to that realm of creativity in your head when you're in that space.
And unfortunately, I've tried it in other vehicles and it's not the same.
Well, here's the thing is the space is in your head.
I know, and that's why it's a mental thing. And that's why writing is so weird, because you can do it. So if I have to write for, like, I'm being hired to write for something, I can write that in 5 minutes. I love that some of my best work is not even going to be on my song. Right. It's on other people's stuff. But when it comes down to,
there's more direction. You're giving guidelines.
It's like you were saying with the guy from Circus Survive, like when he has to write it, like if I have to write it, it's not as vulnerable. Maybe it's not as like, if something's coming from Jules Marie, the artist, like as her song, that's really personal to me.
Yeah,
I can't just write fluff, but. Sure. And it's not even that I'm ever writing fluff for anybody else, because I write some, like I said, I write some of my best stuff. I'm like, oh damn, I wish I would like think about that when I'm writing.
I wish that was for my band. Yeah.
Yeah. But writing is weird. I guess finding the space isn't necessarily a physical thing. It is a mental thing, 100%.
It's all mental, honestly. Everything's mental. If you really want to, we want to get really into some life coaching. Everything is mental. Everything is mental.
Singing is mental. Being a musician is mental. Being a human is mental. Which is also a really crazy number. But anyway, the muse. I don't necessarily have a band or a person that I idolize like that. But when I'm writing, the other day I was writing one of my songs and I couldn't listen to the track anymore to write.
Yeah.
So I was keeping the melody in my head of like what I wanted to write, but I just started shuffling through other songs and I forget what song I even landed on, but I was able to then write words because I was more inspired by what I was hearing.
Yeah.
I was in a mood feeling that way. I feel like if you try too hard, you get different results. But if you just let yourself kind of zone out into that feeling, you'll get whatever the best writing that's going to come out of you is. I hope, at least. But yeah, I don't really have a muse. I feel like it's random and it's whatever I'm feeling in that moment. I don't know if I have a muse.
That might be something good though, because like you said, like you, and like, again, we're different styles in certain ways, but you are like, I feel like my music is pretty versatile. It does pigeonhole in that like kind of like emo rock at like
You
90s.
have a vibe. You definitely have a vibe. I wouldn't say even niche. You have a vibe.
It has a vibe, but
that's good. That's
it's
an
also,
artist's identity.
But it's also like you don't like listen through our album. You're like, oh, these 2-3 songs sound like they're in the same key, and like it's all all over the place. And I think that's that mindset, but that's the mindset that you have the same mindset I do, where it's about the vibe of like what made you start writing music and singing? Like what was like how did it become your outlet?
I was so little. I remember my first song. I can still I want to release my first song. I've never actually finished writing it and recorded it because it's only a verse and a chorus.
Like, did your parents make you play music or did you do it yourself?
Oh no. Yeah, no. Yeah.
I refused to play the recorder in 5th grade.
Oh, I always loved
anti-music when I was a kid.
Oh, music in school was my thing. I still have my recorder. I still have it. It's in its little beautiful little case.
They put me in one of those special classes because I was like, I don't like music, and they're like, he's definitely autistic.
That's interesting that you didn't like music class.
Hated music.
Wow. Is it because they were telling you to?
There was a kid yes, it was because they were telling I wasn't interested in music, and then they were like, no, you're playing the recorder, and I was like, that's what you think. Also, the kid, I'm friends with him now, and I was friends with him after, in that time frame, there was a kid in my class that I didn't like, and he's now a concert violinist. Like, he is a master violinist. His brother's a master violinist. His brother toured with Tantric in the early 2000s. His beautiful younger sister,
Miss Flowers, that's awesome.
She's a master violinist. I think she might be a master pianist.
Do they want to play on a song?
He plays for the New York Symphony.
Would he like to play with?
I'm working on it.
Anyone?
I'm working on it.
Hey, I'm Jules Marie.
They all play in symphonies. So my friend Derek Rotzenbach, you guys can look him up. He's up in New York area, and he actually had a couple viral videos during the pandemic. You might have even seen it. His now wife, it was his fiance at the time, girlfriend at the time. She is a dance instructor. She has a ballet background. So he would stand on the roof and have somebody record it, and he would film and record him playing pieces while she would do dancing. And it went, it was a pandemic. Like, you could take a video of you throwing ping pong balls at a cat, and it would have gone viral.
Not COVID times, but yeah.
Like, we were starved for
I said the C word. Are we going to get...
Yep.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no! Sorry. Powers that be.
The pandemic.
But it was really cool because massive talent. Like, he will play a whole symphony piece, not looking at sheet music. You're talking about playing for 40 minutes, and
that's awesome. That's really awesome.
But yeah, super serious musician. And
so he was in your class, and we
didn't get along for the first couple years. And so I was
burned that bridge. Now you can't have a violin.
I went to his wedding. So I spend the winters in Florida.
Oh yeah, he travels south for the winter.
And my family's down there. I work remotely, so it's why not? Nothing's going on here. You guys play one show in February.
That's so not true. Nothing's going. First of all, you have the beautiful winter of Pennsylvania. Beautiful. Okay. Used to be beautiful. If you went up to the Poconos back, even now, honestly, if you go up there now.
The Poconos is beautiful.
Yeah.
But so is Florida. You're still talking about traveling.
I'm not talking about in Philly when the snow gets dirty colors and I'm not talking about that kind of winter. I'm talking about
I escape where we live. Yeah, but I escape where we live for a couple months.
Listen, seasonal depression is real and good for you if you...
It is a life hack for seasonal depression.
You do. You get lots of sun. Good for you.
I get it's Florida, so there's just sidewalks on each side of the street.
His posting goes up immensely when he goes to Florida in the winter. It's literally, and what is it? Lizards? Lizard videos.
Everyone's I live vicariously
barking at a lizard.
Yeah. Barking at everything. A lot of squirrels. But we were on the topic of music, and so Derek, he played.
You didn't like music class. So how this conversation started.
I refused to play. You know what honestly got me into music? Boyz II Men. There we go, guys. Boyz II Men. From
you heard it
emo
here.
Music, Luke Eccles.
That's really the real lore.
That is,
Boyz II Men was it?
Not kidding you. And
How old are you?
I lived in Florida.
What year were you born?
82. Yeah.
does mental math in her head.
Yeah.
Okay, I was born in 97 for reference.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
They don't.
No, they don't. Yeah. Yeah, true.
We have 3 people.
So when I was growing up, my mom was worked for Continental Airlines, and a girl she worked with, they met Boyz II Men on the airplane and their whole band. And I think Freddie Holiday is still around. Freddie Holiday and my mom's friend had a little like fling going on for a while, so we got tickets to go to a Boyz II Men concert. And
love that.
I didn't get to meet them like I thought I was going to, because if we went to meet them, that would have been cock blocking Freddie for the night. So Freddie Holiday, I don't, even when I'm a kid, I don't cock block. So when you watch this, you're welcome, bud.
At Freddie Holiday.
Freddie Holiday, he's somewhere around the New Jersey area.
He's doing something. So
yeah. In fact, I met their guitarist when I worked at Sam Ash. He came in.
R.I.P.
What?
R.I.P.
I don't remember his name. Yeah, I think
R.I.P. Sam Ash. No,
Sam Ash,
not him. Oh.
Well, I think he was an older guy. I don't know. I think he.
I don't know if anybody died. I don't. I know that
away.
Sam Ash. R.I.P.
Yeah, I am sad about Sam Ash too.
R.I.P. Sam Ash. We love you.
Yeah. He came into Sam Ash and he wanted to try an amp, and he brought his own guitar. I'm like, okay. And he opens up this case. I'm like,
who are you?
It was like a $7,000 custom Gibson big hollow body, and then he started playing I think he started playing End of the Road, and I was like, is that Boyz II Men? He's like, yeah.
That was the story?
Yes. Well, no.
So Boyz II Men, you were already into Boyz II Men before this?
This was 10 years ago. That was when I worked at Sam Ash. So I went to see Boyz II Men up in, I want to say it was Milwaukee. We flew up to see them for a concert. We got tickets. Amazing show. That was back when they were a 4-piece. But that was the first thing I was into, was Boyz II Men. Refused to play music. And then
they're Philly.
Yeah, but I was in Florida. It's because my dad. All right, when I was growing up, my dad listened to really bad Christian music, really bad jazz. My mom.
You grew up very Christian, didn't you?
Yeah, and my mom.
What do you consider bad Christian music? Are you talking about the soft rock?
That'll be a whole nother episode.
I'm real heavy into gospel. Love me some gospel.
I will listen to gospel. I'm not talking about gospel. I'm listening to
sweet
Carmen.
Sweet, I love that song. I got pulled over last night while listening to that song. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the way back from Limp Bizkit. That's a sentence. That's a whole sentence.
Jules Marie getting pulled over listening to gospel while coming back from Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
It's all your fault, Fred Durst.
Yeah. Oh, we love you, Fred Durst. No, he really brought all the children up on stage last night. Let's talk about that.
His children or just the children?
No, the children. Okay. He literally said into the mic. So they have been doing different things on this tour every night. So nothing is the same, which I love, because my boyfriend is one of those people who will look up the set list. He can't do that.
Never look up the set list.
Love that, right? You can't do that. It makes the... Yeah, anyway.
When I went to see Thrice before they went on hiatus for 4 or 5 years.
Don't look up the set list.
People were posting the set list, and I just knew that they were going to be playing something from almost every album, so I was happy. I also don't care. I'm one of those guys, when I'm into a band, I listen to their albums.
So they could play anything.
I'm not just I just listen to the hits. Honestly, if it's a band that's big on the radio, usually their songs that aren't the hits are my favorite.
If a band's touring, they're gonna play their hits. Yes. You don't need to look up. They're gonna play Nookie. They're gonna.
Yeah.
It's gonna.
They're gonna break some stuff.
They're gonna break stuff. They didn't break stuff twice though. They were supposed to. They were supposed to do break stuff twice, because according to him, they did it at every other show.
Oh, okay.
But not at the one we were at last night.
They should open.
We were so
open and
close.
end with it.
We were so close to Times Square, but it was already 12 o'clock by the time. And by so close, I mean a 45-minute drive. But we were up there in the top of Jersey.
Jules, no, you were not close.
That's close enough for me to want to drive there just to go there. You don't know how I drive.
To New York, right, though?
Yeah, a lot. I love it there. That's why I would be let's go.
It takes forever to get into New York.
Yeah, okay.
Also, it would cost you $80 to get into New York. It's insane.
Only 10. Okay.
Really, only 10 with all the tolls and everything?
Like that. I don't know. Well, ask me the last time I've. Anyway.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not a pretty blonde. I know the price of getting into New York.
I know, it's more I owe a lot of tolls.
Oh, yeah. Don't play around with that.
Really? Okay, tell me what happens, because I don't know.
Let's ask after the show.
Another time?
Just happened to
tell me, because
it was not good. Let's just, yeah.
Jules Marie gets canceled for not paying her tolls.
Jules Marie gets canceled by PA Doc.
Canceled a lot. I knew this was going to happen. Coming on a podcast with Luke Eccles, I knew I was going to be canceled, but I didn't know how.
But not by
It's been a lot of different ways than I thought. So anyway, Limp Bizkit had the kids up on stage last night. He put his,
Bold move. I usually have the moms, but keep going.
He had anybody first it was under 10, and then he said anyone under 12 could come up on stage and just sit there for the rest of the show. And we thought he was like going to just have them sit there no, they really sat there the whole show. And of all the songs, on the stage, had him like face forward. It was really cute. It was really, really cute. Oh, and then some person gave him like a bunch of $100 bills. May or may not have been counterfeit. We were not sure, but he gave them to all the kids. So if they weren't, each kid got $100. Pretty cool.
Good night as a kid.
That's a great night. Imagine sitting front on the stage of Limp Bizkit. So the only thing was, of all the songs, he said, don't listen to the words of Nookie, as if he's not saying the F word in every other song. But I love that. I think my kids probably will end up, if I have kids, will probably be there for the Nookie also.
Same if I have kids.
It's just fun. It's like that kind of age of everything is dying out. And, they referenced, Woodstock 99 last night. But that really, honestly, could never happen today. Because as soon as the show started, it was a sea of phones. And I'm not saying I didn't take videos too.
Right.
But I looked at it because when the show first started, I didn't get my phone out for whatever reason. And I just looked around. And it was a very eerie feeling to just see a sea of phones.
Yeah.
And know that that's not going to go away. It's only going to get worse because now we got, well, not worse, more advanced. But there's the Google Glass that's everywhere. What is it? What's the sunglass brand?
Oakley's.
There's another sunglass brand though that's even
Ray-Ban.
Ray-Ban has one that they're a bunch of influencers are testing them out. Yeah, we love you. We would love to be the next influencers to test out the awesome new Ray-Bans that you can take pictures and record video of everything you're doing.
That'd be a cool thing to be wearing.
Imagine going to a show with those.
No, during a show when you're playing.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they already did that. I'm sure their marketing person.
Well, you think about it, you have multiple camera angles, so maybe that's something we'll do for when.
Put it on.
One of my goals for this show is to host shows, possibly at like Rec Room or somewhere, or like we're talking about possibly the Colonial, but having multiple cameras and taking the audio from the board and having as something for the bands hosted by Off the Record.
That would be awesome.
But that would be a really cool thing to do is like have the lead singer or somebody in the band or the drummer.
Everybody wearing
those glasses and getting that looking at the crowd POV is that's actually a really cool concept.
That would be really, really
cool. Ray-Ban.
At Ray-Ban. We love you.
Yeah, we love you guys. Also, hook a brother up. So going back to muses and music.
Yeah.
So you can't really think of like it's just kind of like a space.
It's a space more than a muse.
So it's like a mood in a space.
I feel like I am a muse more than I've ever had muses. I've been a muse for a lot of things. And we're going to just end that sentence.
End that right there.
No, I mean, I meant art and music, though. That's what I actually meant. And honestly, I don't feel like I have ever fixated on anything like that. Like, I've never had anything I can identify. I mean, of course, artists. I mean, you said Casting Crowns, early stuff.
I did not say Casting Crowns.
Who'd you say?
Carmen. Girl, you don't even want to know. Carmen, go ahead and come at me. I'm going to start at B4 with the OG of Christian music, Carmen.
I thought it was Casting Crowns.
No, I did play a show with them, though. So when in the early 2000s, I was in a hit Christian band. We were huge in northern Eastern Europe, Dreaming Under Mercury. Huge.
Oh, I remember.
We were huge in Hungary and that area. But no, we played a lot of Christian festivals. I played with like Fiverr and Frenzy. I played with
what was the band that you said then earlier?
Carmen.
That was not the band you said. Someone's gonna roll the tape back.
Definitely didn't say Casting Crowns.
Well, it was some Christian band. It was a Christian band of some sort.
I don't know.
Well, here we are. Anyway, I don't have a muse, and you mentioned a band earlier that was one of yours that you can put on and listen to.
Counting Crows.
Counting Crows. It's Casting Crowns, Counting Crows. How did you not know that was what I was messing up? It's like so close. Two C's. They're like the same almost.
That's the only thing that's close about them.
I know, but Counting Crows is not a Christian band. Counting Crows is not. So maybe I heard Casting Crowns when you said Counting Crows.
Anyway, Round Here by Casting Crowns.
That's a mashup that the world would not be ready for.
That's a good clip. That's a good clip for us to troll Adam Dirts from Counting Crows. Be like, we confuse you and the Christian hit band Casting Crowns all the time, Adam.
It wasn't my fault. It might have been my fault.
Adam's gonna cancel you.
It was my fault. I've been canceled 3 times already.
Sweet. So that's one of the things I want to say about the guys you're playing with for tacos for breakfast. Like, honestly, some of them are like, when I found out like Drew played drums, because I met him randomly through town. Like, I didn't really know he played, but like I knew Shay was.
They're all excellent.
Is a multi-instrumentalist,
and a vocalist.
And a vocalist. And I've seen him jam. I've seen him do stuff on the street, and I always was like, man, I'd really like to see him like consistently playing in a band. So
that's how it happened.
So when I see you guys play, also D. Can we talk about D?
Yeah, we just brought D in. We brought D in recently. That has been awesome.
I have a little.
She's another person.
I have a soft spot for D.
Me and D have been really close for a while, and so she went to karaoke's, and I've always wanted her to have, and I didn't know it was going to end up being one of my bands, but
she's got like always an infectious smile. She's like one of those people that
she's got a soul like none other. I love her so much.
She's just a gorgeous human being.
Yes, we love D.
I love D. Like, seriously.
He's like, no, I love her more.
So,
we will fight. It's
no. Here's the thing. Like,
she's mine.
So when I found out, like, I saw her karaoke sing and everything. I'm like, damn, she's good. Like, I saw her do like Valerie a couple times. She just kills it. Mm-hmm. And then I heard she was playing out with what's their band?
Chestnut Grove.
Chestnut Grove.
Yeah, I have a funny story about that.
Yeah, and I could because they play a lot.
She was at a show that I was playing as Jules Marie. Oh no, it was tacos. It was a tacos for breakfast and the James Daniels band. Not knowing that James Daniels was in Chestnut Grove, I didn't really know a lot about all of that. She was there to sing.
Was that the Gem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went up to her and I was like, oh my God, you're here. Like, thank you so much for coming. She was there to I was like, thanks so much for coming, bestie. Love you. Like, oh, nope. Yeah, but I love her. Right, listen, I love her.
All of my friends that are in the music scene have a story like that where they see somebody.
We're out for other reasons.
Or it'll be somebody they're friends with on Facebook and they interact with them all the time and they're like, oh, I didn't realize he was in the band. Oh, I forgot.
No.
Or, like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
happened to me with you. I didn't know because you were just playing recently and I was like, wait, what? What is the new Sunblind?
The new Sunblind. We'll come back to that in a minute. But like, so D, I'd sing her. I would see her sing for karaoke, and I was like, damn, like I'd love to hear her with a band or like a cover band.
It fits so well too.
And really I couldn't ever see Chestnut Grove because they play a lot, and at the time I was playing a lot of shows or I had like whatever, a lot of stuff going on, and then like I want to say I saw them play last summer at Sly Fox with her, amazing. But then when you guys started bringing her on, I was like, I was like, I got to see more of her sing on stage because she would only fill in for a couple songs with them. Like, I don't know how that worked.
Yeah, I never really got to see Chestnut Grove, so I think she was
really good band. If you guys want to check out Chestnut Grove, there's a reason.
They have a lot of, they bring a lot of people. There was a whole lot of people on stage.
Big following.
I met like their band themselves. I think they're like a 6-piece.
Like a 6 or 7-piece.
Yeah, they're very, very, all of them are good musicians too.
And they switch off the, James is
so James is one of the singers.
Drums.
Yeah.
And sings. And then sometimes he goes to the front and then D
was a singer and then other D is a singer.
Other D is a singer and she plays guitar and then she'll go back and play. Like, they're all just ridiculously talented musicians. Yeah. And their stage presence is amazing. Their tunes are awesome. Mm-hmm. It's kind of very an eclectic type of band. Like, it's definitely...
That's exactly the word. And that's how I feel with Tacos too. I feel like individually they're all really, really good musicians. And Ray and Drew and Lynn and me we're all in other bands. And D.
Well, I knew Lynn from Stateside out of Lansdale.
Yes, also
great
really great
reggae rock band.
We love them. Yeah.
I met Lynn when their old bassist Justin left, and I had never met him before. Like instantly, I was like, "Who is this guy? He's got such
Lynn is another one of the best human beings you'll meet in your entire life. Like
another person that just has one of those like
he's very quiet though.
Presence.
You'll never know.
Yeah,
you'll never know unless he. Yeah,
no, he's really funny too.
Dude. All right, we love you, Lynn. We love you, Lynn. We love you, Shay. We love you, Ray. We love you, Drew. We love you, Dee. We love you all. Yeah.
Yeah. I was hanging out with him, and he like. Somebody was making jokes.
Tacos for breakfast.
And Lynn just pulled out a savage joke about himself. And I was like, oh, like it was out of nowhere.
He's quiet and you don't expect it. That's why
it's the quiet ones that make you laugh the hardest because you don't expect it. And then they chime in and you're like, that came out of you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I started seeing your lineup for that band, I was really excited. So.
Yeah, we're working on more stuff now. So me and Dee are writing together.
Okay.
So it's going to be fun. It's really fun. We both have a similar approach to writing, like kind of how I was talking about with like we already have lyrics and we can pour lyrics out of us.
Right.
So it's really just kind of finding the gel and like
Yeah.
It's the band, like you said, they're all already great musicians and can jam for forever.
Right.
And so it's like putting that jam into an actual cohesive piece of music. We're all working.
That's a hard thing with a jam band.
We're working hard.
I feel like it's harder when you got people that are in that jam band mode because like they're used to being able to jam on a song for 10 minutes, but then sometimes you're like, all right, for writing purposes,
it is hard
to flesh out the meat of this song.
Especially all of our personalities, and we were all friends first, so it is just like hanging out in Shay's garage sometimes, and we're like, oh wait, we're supposed to be rehearsing.
I remember watching the early videos.
Which videos?
Of you guys jamming in the garage, and I remember
used to take Snapchat,
and I remember sending you a message and be like, yes, like
wow, you remember?
Yeah, no, I remember. I was because you were only in really cover bands, and then you had like Jules Marie, and you were just trying to figure out where that fits in, how to do it.
So the lore of Jules Marie being in bands and how many I'm in was that was the Exit 31 band was the first real one, but it really did start with me. Like how I got all the cover gigs was I would just walk up to bands that were playing everywhere,
right,
and almost every time they'd say yes, and I would sing just a song,
right.
And now it's funny because when people come up to me while I'm singing, it almost never is yes, and that's not my fault. It's everybody, but I mean it is kind of also my fault.
That's a funny thing though, like it's like kind of the inside joke now with cover bands, like, or even just like a solo musician, like people think you're a jukebox, like people that aren't musicians, they come up and they're like Alex,
I could play Freebird. That's the funniest part is that if you actually
on piano,
I could sing it and I mean I don't know if I've ever tried to play it on piano. I probably could if I tried, but no, I can play like when people say, "Oh, play Freebird," like
there's a couple times where I started playing.
We really could, but we're not going to.
I started playing the chorus and I'd be like, if I leave here, and I just start, and then I go, "Fuck you," I just stop it. Yeah.
No, that's the deep secret is that we can play Freebird, but we don't want to because it's 7 minutes long.
Yeah,
7-ish.
Just play like a couple times. Your set will be over. It's fine.
Just do it once to let the crowd be happy. Maybe that's the real secret. That's what cover bands should do. We should just play Freebird.
I mean, if you got guys that jam in that band, honestly.
Which one are we talking about? Hammer-ons?
Any band, if they can jam.
The only time we ever really get asked to play Freebird is when we're playing Molly's, to be honest.
That's more of a joke.
It is. And I mean, then there are some real serious suggestions, and I do feel bad because like they'll put the thing up.
Right.
On I think you like put it on your phone and you write the word.
Yeah. What's the first song you ever remember hearing?
Oh, it was by Macy Gray.
Ooh.
I Try by Macy Gray, and I remember asking.
Walk away and not joke.
Oh, I try to hide it. It's clear. My world crumbles when you are not there. Yeah,
that's a good tune.
Changes and fears. Yeah, no, that's
her voice. I remember like it was like, does she swallow like tacks?
I remember asking my mom
voice, so good.
Years later, being like, and I think I was 5 when I asked my mom, but I remember wanting to know because I actually asked myself that question. I remember being a kid that was very introspective like that. Like I wanted to know why the world was, period. Like I just wanted to know everything about everything. So I asked my mom that question. I was like, what was that song? And the way I described it was like the train song or whatever. It sounded like a train.
I was one of those kids whenever my mom was like to my dad, she's like, you got to talk to Luke about this. I would just blow my dad would have nothing. So we had a golden retriever when I was growing up named
Aww.
Samson, and my dad, it must have been like 4 or something like that, and my mom goes, listen, you need to talk to him. He renamed Samson Snuff. I probably couldn't say Samson or something, you know. And she's like, he won't stop talking.
You said Snuff?
She's like, she won't stop calling Samson Snuff.
Snuff's not bad.
Snuff, right?
Like Snuffleupagus.
So she's like, you got like, she's
Snuff
like,
is like dip, isn't it?
Well, she tried having a talk with me, and I was just like, no, his name's Snuff.
Aww.
So my dad.
That's not bad.
So my dad sits down and goes, listen, Luke. He goes, I heard you're calling Samson Snuff, and I just go, yeah, Dad, that's his new name I gave him. And he goes, well, Luke, that's not fair. What if we just like renamed you Snuff? And he said, I paused and I just go,
it hurts your brain there.
That's silly, Dad.
That's
like,
silly.
Why? And he goes, we can't have 2 Snuffs in the family. And my dad just lost his shit laughing. He's like, oh,
got nothing.
Tag team, you're it. Like, it's just nothing. You're it.
Got nothing.
What was the first concert you ever went to? Do you remember?
Yeah, Jonas Brothers.
Jonas
Love
Brothers.
You still.
What year was that?
2006, 5.
So you were 9?
6. I was very young.
8 or 9.
I was, yeah. And I took my best friend at the time, Jenny Green. We love you.
Jenny Green.
And we made shirts, and I have a picture still of the shirts because we thought these shirts, we did such a good job on these shirts. They were, when I look back, I still have it in a drawer somewhere at my mom's house, but it was like you fringe cut the bottom, and then we used that like glitter gel to write which Jonas Brother we loved. Which Jonas Brother do you think was mine?
Nick.
No, that's so stereotypical.
It's the only one I know.
It's Kevin, Nick, Joe, and then they have their little brother Frankie.
I can never remember any of
He's also a
Nick
Jonas brother.
Is the only one I can remember. So
And they have like a show
the answer is
now.
always Nick.
Oh
yeah, I watch that show all the time.
I fell asleep and that show there was a show came on and it's hosted by Kevin Jonas and the littlest Jonas. And it's like the celebrity.
I had to give him a job.
Whose celebrity relative are you? They really made a show that's like you are related to a celebrity. Now you get to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I heard Tom Holland's twin brother was in the new Deadpool. Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
No, it was like a cameo thing. Yeah. Like
he has an actual
same type of thing where it's
Does Tom Holland have a twin brother?
Yeah, or it might not be his twin brother, but his brother or something like that was yeah.
I don't know enough about. See, that's my point.
I saw it today in a video. Like we went and saw it Monday night, and
I just don't know enough about all of the celebrity ins and outs. I don't think I would be a very good.
A lot of it, to be honest.
I don't think I would be a very good celebrity. Do I want to be a very successful and possibly famous musician? Yes. Do I think I'd be a good celebrity? Probably not.
I think you could do some modeling. You could probably do some acting.
The modeling isn't it, but I appreciate that. But the modeling isn't it. Even like the prettiest people.
It doesn't have to be.
It's a celebrities have to be poised and have to be very careful what they say and what they do and the way they. And I feel like
you could do whatever the hell you want, Jules.
Right. I am who I am. I am what I am.
Just gotta market it a little bit more.
Right. And just post all the time.
Something like that. I don't know. I've never done that. I've
we
never
got
done
it.
that before.
Excellent marketing
I've never
strategy.
done that before. Funny enough.
2 marketing people who are going to just tell you, just post.
Funny enough, that video I sent you today that you made
Did it randomly?
in my car, that was 3 years ago today or whatever. Like it popped up in like, and I was like, what's this video? I was like, yeah.
That's scary that was 3 years ago.
Maybe we should share that video. I'll post that in the
3 years ago, that seems like it was yesterday. Like, that's so crazy that much time has passed. That we've been in this town for this long.
2 years ago, maybe 2 summers ago.
2 summers ago was a song. I'm going to write a song called 2 summers ago.
All right, so writing process on songs. How long do you have songs that you've had sitting there that you've written and then all of a sudden like 5 years later, it finally comes out and gets finished.
We said,
am I the only one that does that?
Podcast, and she texted me, by the way.
Who?
D.
D.
But to answer your question, yes, the notes section of my phone, I'm gonna give you an updated number. I have 335 songs.
Okay.
Unreleased. Yeah, only. And I don't know how long my iCloud has things backed up from. I think it goes back to like 2020. So that's over the last almost 5 years.
What kind of tools do you use, like as far as technology for like organizing and writing and?
So I used to do pen and paper. I still love pen and paper, but I do it very few and far between. Since. Yeah, I kind of, maybe after this, I'm getting inspired by a lot of things we're saying. So maybe I will after this, but.
That's kind of the goal of this podcast is what works for.
Off the record.
Well, that's one of the cool things is like could interview giant bands and stuff, but like, what are all the smaller bands doing? You know, like what helps you write? What helps you push your stuff out there? That's kind of like, kind of what I'm trying to figure out, like what's working for people. So,
yeah.
So you say you used to use pen and paper now?
I used to use pen and paper. It's a lot of the notes section on my phone. It depends what I'm going for. If I already have a track behind it, it's a little bit easier because then I'm just kind of, I put it, it's a system. I got it. I put the audio file on the top of the note. I hit play and then I write at the bottom of the note as it's going. But
okay.
It really depends what I'm going for. Depends who I'm writing for. If I'm writing for myself, like I've written more for other people. When you say
writing for, what do you, like? Tell me a little bit more about writing for people. You mentioned that earlier.
I've done features and then also just like written for people a lot more than I've written for myself in the last couple of years. I don't know if I'm allowed. They're not of any of it's released yet. I don't know if I can. I didn't sign any NDAs or anything. It's small. It's EDM artists. It's a couple rappers. It's a band. And then a friend of mine who, Burke wouldn't mind me saying, Burke Smith. Okay. You know, I used to write a lot with him. He just had a baby. So we both have the kind of similar, we've been putting things off. Right. But I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to put things off anymore. I really want to take the notes section of my phone and make it audible for everybody to consume and not just have it be sitting there and build up. And writing is really not the hard part. It's the following through. It's the following the rest of the process because, you know, there's so much more to releasing a song than just writing the song. And even writing a song, there's so many parts to it before the song is actually fully written. And even when it's fully written, you can go back and change a million things.
Sure.
But yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to... Consistency is huge and mindset is everything. Yeah. So when you have missing pieces of either of those, writing them becomes fragmented. Like I have parts of songs that I know could be amazing that aren't probably going to see the light of day for months to come.
Right.
Unless I go back in today and dig them up.
Right.
You know, so.
Yeah, that was one of the things that so that was something I did to push the game up last week was with everything going on. I had a moment where I was sitting in the living room watching something on Netflix.
Scroll, yeah.
And something came, a line came to my head and full melody, and then I think I sang it into in your voice memos. The voice memos.
Yeah.
And then I was like, save that one for later. And then I told myself, don't be a bitch. Don't,
if you can do it now, do it now.
I literally told myself, what do you mean later?
Yeah.
The fuck, you're going to watch another, Umbrella Academy episode? Go, I literally told myself, stop being a bitch. And I went downstairs to my studio room and I turned my guitar amp on. I knew exactly what sound I wanted. You know,
it felt right in the moment because it came to you then and you did it then.
And that was the thing was I said to myself, I was like, you can do this right now. You have the means. I kind of started what I've been telling myself lately is all right, when you were younger, you were working in a restaurant. You were working 60 hours a week. You didn't have time to sit down.
You
now you do, and you're filling it with bullshit things.
Yeah.
So and again, this is something I said in the third episode with Joe Kenny, and it's kind of a mindset thing that helps push me. Is my dad tells me, and it pisses me off all the time, and I say it to myself because it pisses me off. It's at the end of the day, you either have results or excuses.
Right. 100%.
You got to figure out which one you're fine with. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Like, you're telling yourself. So, like...
And even small results are results.
Small, like...
And like, you don't have to hold...
That's another mind game I've been playing myself. It's just like, all right, go and clean that thing up and that you left. Or, like...
If you can do it now, do it now.
Or, like, organize your studio in a way that you know will be conducive for when you want to write. Everything's ready. Like I call him make it easy for future Luke.
That's right. Future you will thank you because you took the extra 5 minutes instead of sitting there. And yeah, that's a big mental battle of like, you know, when you start to, especially if you're working for yourself, you know, you have the time.
Yeah.
What are you doing with it? And really being honest with yourself. Like, what are you doing with your time? And when I look back, I there's definitely, you know, you talk about 3 years ago in the summer, like there's times that I think I could have been doing more, especially when I was going on a very fast track path, especially, you know, you can blame the pandemic, but all of our mindsets are our responsibility at the end of the day. Like what you do with it is
it's an upsetting fact, but it's a fact nonetheless.
It's the truth. Like, because you're the only one who lays your head on the pillow at the end of the night. It's just you and you. Even if you're laying next to someone you love or you're not, or you have a dog, it's still you. At the end of the day, your brain is going to get you to the next day. And
you're not happy, fucking do something.
Right. Yeah, and that's such a harder. It's easier said than done. It's hard to.
Nothing worth doing is easy.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Every once in a while, somebody will win the lottery. They'll have a song go viral. Like,
if a song idea comes to you and you even think of putting it off, don't get your voice memos out.
That was another thing. Was like I went downstairs. I recorded like a loop of like I wrote a couple lines, and then I was like, okay, maybe and then I was like. It's 10 o'clock. You're going to stay up till 2 a.m. Like
anyway, right. You're going to be doom scrolling anyway.
I literally kept telling myself, stop being a bitch. Like, go do the next step.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I set my laptop up. I set the interface up. I took that like rough loop. And then like, I wrote all the lyrics out in that space. I even dumbed it down because I had like a chorus and I was like, just leave that guitar track on loop and fuck with it.
But your brain was already... See, that's the problem.
I was in the mood. And that's something
you can't force that.
That's something I relentlessly try to explain to my ex, because when you're living, it's a difference when you're living with people too. Whether it's like family, you're married, you have a boy, like that. Those setting those boundaries and having that quiet space and being able to really bunker down. Because my ex would be like, "Well, what do you want for dinner?" I'm like, "Leave me the fuck alone." Like,
you broke my concentration. Yeah.
And it's a real thing. Now I'm a little bit better at it now. Like getting back to that mental state, but that's really me working on me in the last 2 years. But so what I did was every time I got to that next step where I could have been like, I'll finish this tomorrow. Or some other time. I'm like, bitch, you're gonna write something else, and this is just gonna sit there. So I literally just I did the guitar track, I did the vocal track, and then I was like, oh, I could leave it at that. And I was like, nah, it's boring. And then I just got my guitar, plugged it in, something I hadn't even done, like plugged it straight in, set something up that I had never done before. And then I wrote like one of my favorite guitar lead parts I've ever written on something. It's something completely different than anything I've ever written. And it almost has like a Johnny Santo, like that quiet, like.
But you did it. Because
and
you took the extra time to do it, better things came from it. The only problem.
Cool, this is a song that we could literally just re-record with real recording, like just make sure everything's more quality. And now I've got a single.
See, I want to be able to do that. See, I don't play guitar. I play piano. And even that, it's not like my voice is my main instrument.
Sure.
Always has been. And so I am kind of limited in what I can do. I can't, I want to teach myself. I'm going to stop saying can't, and I'm just going to teach myself. Yeah, but even that, you need a software. So I have Ableton, and what I kick myself for is that I have not sat down and taken the hours that you need to put in to teach yourself.
Yeah.
Why have I not done that? I'm my only reason for not doing that. And so
you got some time right now.
Right. So moving forward, what I'm trying to do is really like you said, finish things, not leave things for later because later might not come. You know, life is what you make of it right now. And future Luke will thank you for taking your extra time, and future Jules, hopefully, you know, will take the time to do the things that I need to do so I can be successful in the future. Because right now I have a lot of unfinished business.
I feel like that's one of the things I learned during COVID. Like because everybody was stuck in a room, everybody was stuck in a house. I like took that time where I really pushed myself to learn like different not recording programs, but editing software, different marketing things for like my work, but also like to push I feel like that was kind of I mean, you were there when my social media started blowing up, and I feel like that time during the pandemic was where I really sat down and learned how this stuff works, how to push, how to like the base level.
Redbeard marketing took off during, that's what.
I mean, that was kind of, but that was me taking the time to sit down and be like, all right, well, how can I start making graphics and start doing?
Because you can do it yourself. And I loved that time period just because I had that fire in me. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to get back so bad right now, is that like I can do everything myself. And I did. It's a mental balance
battle. It's like, it goes right back to what we said. It's all mental. Mm-hmm. It's all mental.
Yeah. Motivation is fleeting. Like, it's discipline 100%.
It's consistency. And it's also like a big thing. And I guess I haven't talked about my weight loss in the last
congratulations.
So like, I gained a little bit back in this winter, but I think I lost most of it so far.
But you're happy still.
I am happy
and moving and breathing.
Happy, but not content.
That's good.
Yeah.
Never be content.
Yeah, exactly.
Always strive for more.
And honestly, I went to the gym once when I was in Florida because my dad really wanted me to go to the gym, and I went and I was like, I don't like it. Especially like a big, like busy gym. It was like an LA Fitness. It's just not, it's not my vibe. It's not. But for me, the weight loss was a mental game. It was all mental. And that was kind of like, that's where I came to realization. It was, hey, I'm not happy with where I am. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm happy, but I could be happier.
Yeah.
And it was the small habits, like small victories, like you said earlier, like celebrating when you do something small. Like that was a huge component of it, was like, all right, like don't wake up and, you know, on days where you're not hungry, like don't wake up and eat something. Like do like a fast till you can't. Or even then, like tell yourself you're a bitch and you can. Like
doing the small, but
here's
mentally
people aren't hard enough on them. They say they're hard on themselves sometimes, but they're not when it comes to like the important shit.
Yeah, I feel like people are hard on themselves mentally. Yeah, after the fact, more than holding themselves
the shit that
accountable. And I'm saying this as much to myself as I am to anybody else.
Stuff that doesn't matter, that you hold on to, and you're beating yourself up over.
Right, and then but when things are really, you're like, oh, and you make it. You're right. You either make excuses or you make it happen.
It's just like the content game. Like so, like all right. So like I had a band member in the past where like he really wasn't an online person. Like he didn't like content. He didn't like. And he just said, well, like if we make cool music, like people will check it out and listen to it. I'm like, that's a idea. But I was like, that's the basis of doing content. Like that's the start. That's
hoping
just
you're gonna have good music and that people. That's like the music industry's biggest.
I'd be like, what if Nirvana was just playing in a garage for 5 years until Kurt died? Like, yeah, they made great music, but nobody heard it. Like, so it's, you got to figure out, like, yes, making great content and figuring out that vibe and your niche. That's all. That is the ground zero. But the thing that got us caught up was, well, maybe this isn't the best piece of content. Maybe it could be better. Mm-hmm. You could spend, and you can talk to the Aidens about this. You could spend years, like just thinking about what content to do and never doing anything. Like action. That's where you learn. It's just the nose of the grindstone.
Thanks to the Aidens that we're here today.
Yeah, thank you to the Aidens. But just doing, honestly, and that's what I want to encourage bands is like don't worry about whether people are going to hate. I mean, if you're still working on your stuff,
but also do the work. Do the work
yeah.
when no one's watching. Do the work when you don't want to. Do the work when you could put it off for later, because later you is going to kick you for not doing the work.
Yeah, and if you put out content and you're still like, I'm not 100% happy with it, like,
at least you did it.
The whole world didn't see it.
At least you did it.
That's another thing is people are always just like, well, we already put it out.
You
people
can archive everything.
This. And I often will say, unfortunately,
always archive, don't delete.
Nobody gives a fuck and nobody's paying attention.
Delete is bad for your algorithm. Always archive.
Keep putting music. Just keep putting. You can re-record that same piece of content.
Reuse content.
You can re-chop it. You can. This is the one thing that people they get so caught up on how it wasn't exactly what they wanted. It wasn't the best thing. But
Needs to be perfect.
They forget that like
perfect doesn't exist.
It is unfortunately, if you want to say it's unfortunate, the record labels have no say nowadays if you're doing the game, but it's a content game. It's putting things out. It's building your tribe. It's building your following, communicating with the people that do come out.
And also, when you're ready for it and you've been doing content for a while, invest in your marketing.
Yeah.
Put money into yourself. Once you need to be consistent before you do that. People invest into marketing and then they're not consistent and they wonder why their marketing isn't working. It's because they're not being consistent. Yeah. Once you're consistent though, and you're already getting a baseline of traction, that's your time to really like double down and invest in your page and invest in your brand. And having your brand identity is actually the most important part because it's who you are.
Yeah.
And so once you have consistent, and I'm not consistent anymore, so I can't even, you know, not speaking for myself on this one, but what I wish I was more consistent, because then it would make sense for me to invest into marketing. And like, for example, when I do finally release music again, there is a whole plan that goes into that before that ever happens.
Yeah. Every time I make a good content piece, like the video I just did with Joe Kenny, we took one of my songs and did a piano version, a sadder piano version of already
That's gonna be
slow,
beautiful.
sad song.
That's gonna be beautiful.
And like I took money and threw some ads behind the video on Facebook.
Just get it out there.
30,000 views. Like it doesn't take a lot. That was like, I don't know, $20-$30 in ads.
But you made the content and you did it.
If you have the content, like, yeah. And it's like it's that game of just figuring out how it works, and like maybe you're not happy with the last one, we'll do another one.
But don't go down the rabbit hole trying to figure out too much how it works. You don't need it to be the highest quality for it to hit. You've seen I'm not even gonna say it, but you've seen some of the viral videos that go viral. They're honest. They're really, it's not necessarily high quality. It's what sticks with people, and whatever sticks with you will probably stick with somebody else. Yeah. So
yeah, and instead of what's the term they have now, where you're just like scrolling,
doom scroll. That's what I was.
Instead of doom scrolling, watch like, you know what I really got into,
educational content.
You can screencast like a video from YouTube onto your TV and stuff. So like I'll just look up a video on like what's working for pushing content out on Instagram right now for my music.
You're a YouTuber.
Or like I built a whole business off
YouTube
of
University. That's right. That's right.
People always ask me, did you go to school for web design? I'm like, why would I pay?
YouTube University.
YouTube, and then you do it. It's
actually doing it,
though. It's the same thing you're doing at a university.
That's the one piece that you just said, though. A lot of people don't do. They'll do the YouTube University and they'll scroll for hours and hours and learn all these things on these videos and then not do it. You need to do it. You need to actually do it.
Or people that will spend a ton of money on like how to do videos and how to do like
courses. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I've watched people buy courses, and I love seeing the success stories. Sure. And I know personally a lot of success stories from courses and different ventures, but it all comes down to putting in the work. Yeah. And I can hold myself accountable for it, that I haven't put in, as much of the work as I would have liked to. But I know for a fact when I did, and when I was doing things consistently all the time, I mean, I was doing stuff like this, like twice a week, actually. I was doing interviews and different, like just putting myself consistently out there.
So you were on Q102, correct?
Yeah, that was fun. That happened. You want to know how that happened?
What DJ was it? Yeah, that's exactly,
So that was Nugget, which Nugget now is a dear friend of mine.
Nugget.
We love you, Nugget. His name's Sam.
I might not fit on your show, but it's fine.
No, everybody fits. It's Q102. But no, so Nugget, the way that actually happened, he's a dear friend now, but it happened from an Instagram DM.
Yeah. Yeah.
I literally sent him a DM and I was like, hey, I would love to come co-host.
Also, don't be afraid to DM people.
But be careful about the way you do it. It's the way you do it.
Respectfully. Yeah.
And actually, that is what Nugget actually said, because I did ask. I was like, so like, what made you, want to have me on? And he said it was the way I said it. It wasn't pushy. It wasn't acting like you owe. No one owes you anything. So don't be reaching out to people, especially pages that are bigger than you, or celebrities, people that you're viewing as higher than you. Don't be messaging them as if they owe you something, like, you need to check out my new song. They don't need to do anything. Yeah. And that honestly changed a lot for me. Just the way I used to go about. I used to message everybody. That's how I got a lot of the connections I have. I haven't been as active anymore with Instagram. Instagram kind of took a weird turn back when Meta transitioned, and it's not really the same anymore. I still am on Instagram as my main platform, but I was doing very well just because I was really good in the DMs, and I really do genuinely love talking to people. And I feel like that's an advantage I've had, I guess, in most of my life, is that I just...
Yeah, you're not scared to talk to people.
I'm not. And because
the first time we met, I don't remember it, but...
Yeah, it's a good story. But no, people are people at the end of the day. I think people idolize people way too much. I think they think there's this invisible wall between them and the people they see on TV. And if you've worked in any stretch of the industry or you've owned a camera, you know that that's not the case. They're just humans like anybody else.
So you went on to a show on Q102?
Oh, so yeah, Q102 I did twice.
Okay.
So the first time I DM'd him and was like, hey, I'd love to come co-host. And then he let me play. I asked for him to play my song, and he said, how about you come co-host and you can play the song? That's awesome. And it was Bulletproof by Jules Marie.
There's a music video out for that, correct?
That's the best.
You filmed it in front of the...
City Hall on all four, because the lyrics of the song is up, down, left, right, all around and straight back through. So I did up, down, left, right of City Hall. Nice. And we went on the streets, but yeah.
I remember things.
Yeah, thanks. That's one of my favorite projects I've done so far. But then I went back and I did So Far Gone, which was actually one of my most popular songs at the time. But So Far Gone was on Q102 now too.
Nice.
So yeah, it was fun.
Original version or live version?
I believe it was the live version. It was the live version because I recorded it at the Gem. Yeah. Which was a great venue, is a great venue. We hope somebody buys it and saves it, but.
Yeah, I saw that post.
Yeah.
I reposted that yesterday. From your post.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been sharing it. But yeah, the Gem was a great venue, but I played So Far Gone live, and then I know I was wearing a scarf in the interview, so I think it was around November or December. It was kind of chillier, but yeah, it was a good time. Nugget's awesome. Q102 was awesome. Having my song played and then having people come up to me who actually listened to it and like tuned in when I was going to be on and heard everything.
I tuned in for like 5 minutes and then had to do something.
We had a little release party for the first one. The first one was like, I was so excited.
I'd be in my car. That's why I was like on my way. I was like, all right. Like,
yeah, because where do you have a radio? Do you have a radio in your car? You have a radio. You can actually go at any time on iHeartRadio. I don't work for them technically.
I was just thinking, I'm sure it's all everything.
Plug iHeartRadio.com.
Yeah, I've been played on iHeartRadio a couple times.
iHeartRadio. Yeah, I'm on all the platforms. Let's talk about platforms for a second.
Yeah, let's.
So, where do you find? First of all, which one do you use personally?
So I've been having really good success this year with Instagram for Sunblind. It all. Yeah.
Instagram, like music? Using like a sound file.
So my channel, I've had a couple viral videos.
So you wouldn't necessarily normally consider that a platform, but it is streaming wise. And when you get your revenue at the end of the year, that is a platform. They count Instagram and Facebook and TikTok as platforms. For music.
That's another thing I've really been trying to do is because I shoot so much content, and the content and this is where it's just been years of me playing around with this stuff. Like, for instance, our beloved Cop Daddy.
Dutch. He has a freaking name. He has a name.
I don't want the women to know.
Oh, so what? He's married, honey.
He's not married.
He's not married?
All right. Well, we're gonna have. We'll
the
save
lore continues.
Yeah, we're gonna save
My
this for when
goodness, we
Cop
love
Daddy
him
has
though.
already-
He's a great
Cop
person,
Daddy
and I
has already
don't like
agreed to
him
come-
being labeled Cop Daddy. That's
I've known him for like 16 years. Okay.
does he like it? Does he love it?
I'm his agent. Okay.
Okay, so
He
he's
sends me
into it.
videos that other people take of him now in town. He
So he does like
and he goes,
it.
Did
He
you?
likes that he's
and he
famous.
Goes,
He thinks he's famous.
Did you approve of this? And
Stop.
I go, I did not send them a fine. Did you approve? I don't even know where we were going with the Cop Daddy thing.
You saw Cop Daddy.
Oh, for instance, Celso sent me some videos of him throwing them hot dogs on the street this past weekend, and I wasn't out a lot this weekend. I was a little busy, and
That's why I don't really come out as much anymore.
because I was busy.
Because people are throwing hot dogs.
Oh, but he threw it to Cop Daddy and the police sergeant, and he sent me the video, and like, so it's interesting content. So when I post it now, I will take my music and turn it down, or use it like.
So it's in there. It's in there.
It's like product placement. So like I'm doing that now with interesting footage that I have for Sunblind's page, but I'm also doing with Luke Eccles. I'm fitting it in there because people are starting to follow me. And sometimes people will comment on different channels that I have, and they'll be like for instance, I have the Luke Eccles on YouTube, and I'll do all kinds of different stuff. Like I'll do like Trump impersonations. It'll be funny videos. It'll be like my music. And some guy was like, I guess he didn't like my Trump, me making fun of Trump. So he was like, why don't you concentrate more on music? He didn't no clue. And here's another thing. Never assume people know when you're posting stuff online. Like they don't know you. They don't know that you're in another band. They don't know, like just assume they don't know anything when you're posting that information.
But also assume that they could know everything. So be careful.
So just, yeah.
Just be careful.
But
do it as much as you possibly can, but be careful.
But that was the thing was like I said, I was like, here's the link for my band. Like I do put out stuff. So like he was really happy. He liked my stuff. But that's kind of where I got that idea of like, okay, I need to start putting my music into my stuff because people listen to it and they're like, what is that? And I'm already getting thousands
TikTok
of views.
is really good with that. They actually have a whole separate tab for your songs. If you register as an artist on TikTok and you claim your page, your songs, it'll tell you how many videos have been used with your song, which is really cool. I mean, Instagram does the same thing in a way. Yeah. It's on the audio files thing, but they track it all for you as an artist. So it's under your profile. It has a little music note and everything.
Okay.
But platforms, I was more asking which one you use to like listen to music. Personally.
Oh, okay. So
that is actually
iPhone, so I use iTunes.
Okay, so Apple Music, there is no iTunes anymore. It is Apple Music.
My bad, Jules.
iTunes is if you want to go buy this podcast for however many cents it is, or any of the other podcasts. They don't really exist anymore.
Okay.
Or you can buy albums, I think, still.
Yeah, you can.
You can buy music on iTunes, but Apple Music is true. So I use that too. So have you... Marketing wise, when you put your link for your song, is it Spotify?
Yeah. So I generally do Spotify because I do feel like a lot more people. I listen to
metrics.
I listen to iTunes just because it's just easier for like with Siri and everything.
Yeah. It's just funny because a lot of the people I ask that question to, they have an iPhone, they use Apple Music or YouTube maybe. Yeah. But they promote their stuff on Spotify and they're not even using Spotify. So who are we promoting to? It's like a very small, it's the metrics. The reason why we're promoting to Spotify is because of the metrics. It's a visible metric that people can see how many streams you have, and it's more beneficial to put your money somewhere where someone's going to see it. Because on Apple,
they don't show the metrics.
Unless you're trending.
You have to go in your back end to look at the metrics.
And if you're trending, you'll be on a playlist and someone will know that you're doing well because you're on a really good playlist.
It's harder. It's harder to get on playlists for iTunes
because it's more organic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's interesting. So, what do you, as far as platforms, what do you see the most success in for pushing yourself?
YouTube.
As a musician? YouTube.
And I think YouTube is. I haven't utilized Shorts as much as I have. Should have.
Girl.
Right. Exactly. I know. I should. Everything that I ever.
I'll get 100,000 views a month out of just consistently doing YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
Easily.
YouTube is still universally recognized as like a resume for people. Like, oh, if you have a great video on YouTube, that's great. Like your music video is on YouTube. Your main source of like truth is on YouTube. But I find myself not cross-posting as much as I should. So I'll post something on Instagram on my story that really, if I would have put that up as a YouTube short, that could do great. But I just put it on my story and it'll be there for 24 hours.
Are you segmenting your playlists and stuff with your YouTube at all?
I haven't. YouTube I haven't done as much work with, but
it's something I
see the best results with YouTube.
I did that with the Cop Daddy videos on my channel the other day. It was because I was like, wait a minute, like these are getting a lot of traction. People really like them.
Series.
So like, so
it is like an actual.
So you make a playlist, like, and that's something I need to do with now that I'm consistently doing these audio sessions with video with Joe Kenny, and even just I've done a couple myself in my studio room. But just doing like on a playlist, like, okay, here's live acoustic sessions for a playlist. Or like if you have live and video, if you're playing live, like you can do a different playlist. So that when people come to your channel, it actually shows the different playlists.
Outlined nicely for you. I like that.
Just like little, and like honestly, like those, if I was to give like a band advice or a musician trying to get themselves out there, is like, these are all small things.
Free that you can do yourself. Yes.
Like it's really...
Yep.
That's really where the magic is. It's just
putting that time and work in.
Yeah. And like just learning, like, and like talking to your friends about this stuff.
Yeah. Like, hey, what do you do? What works for you? Yeah.
I learned that from like from Redbeard, from like talking with, so a lot of times
other friends who are doing
people that do web design. So a lot of times people, when you do these business mixers, they're like, oh, well, like they might steal business from you. But I'm like, what, I'm going to be able to handle like how many millions of people in the Philadelphia area that own, like the whole, there's one pie we're all sharing thing.
Yeah. Thinking that not everybody can be successful.
Yeah. And that's another thing is like with what we do, especially with social media marketing, like this stuff, there's no book. By the time they finish writing a book,
it'll be different by tomorrow.
So having these conversations, being like, hey, what's working for you? Like I did this, or showing your friends, hey, like I did this helped. They're going to be like, oh, I did that. You're sharing these inside things that change daily, weekly, monthly. So like, don't be afraid to talk and to share those ideas. Like your followers are following you for your content. Just because you give away a little trick doesn't mean they're going to be like, oh, wait a minute, Jules Marie's doing that. Now,
and depending on how you build up your brand, you can be a faceless page.
You could
be, it depends on how you build it. But for me, at least, I mean, I'd hope that the people who are following me, you know, I could post something that's not music related and they still would be interested in it just because they're there for hopefully me. But at the same time, I do want to give Jules Marie Music is the name of the page. So I do want to have, you know, my best music performing quality performances on there. I want them visible. My struggle is really being consistent with that.
Right.
And so what I'm trying to do more is post those things regularly and have it available. So when someone comes to my page, it's not, oh, this was the song that she released 2 years ago.
Right.
I want new Jules Marie.
What kind of goals do you have for like the next year as a musician?
Big ones.
Tell us, like what?
So a tour is long overdue, and I was going to tour back in 2019.
Every musician.
Yeah, well, no. So there was a band. It's called Some Kind of Wonderful, and I was going to be doing stuff with them, and it didn't work out, and I never looked into it again. I got disappointed and just never. But it's not that hard to really put yourself out there, especially if you're a solo artist opening for a tour. If you have enough content of your, you know, if your songs have to do well, and I feel like in this day and age, I would have to release new stuff and it would have to hit the new wave. Anything I've done that might have done well in the past is, I got to start fresh.
You know, you could always do a live version.
Live version of
content.
Of old stuff?
Yeah.
Or new stuff?
Yes.
Okay, well, new stuff live, hell yeah.
But I mean, if you can play it on piano, I'm telling, like, or if you can get somebody like just to strip down, like putting out something, like you can sing, you have plenty of musicians that can play. So, like, all you need is a recording interface and your phone.
Yeah.
And if you're not comfortable with putting it all together, you can pay somebody on Fiverr. You could probably spend like $30. For like a video with like a mix and master. Like you can do stuff yourself, and you can take like that's another thing that people sleep on is they're like, oh well, like my fans checked out that content. I was like, cool, but what about the people that didn't check out that content? Like, how do you refresh that?
Keep posting it,
especially old songs. Like doing a stripped down version. It's kind of what I want to do with this tiny desk setup downstairs. Is people can take old versions of stuff and do. Maybe they never did.
I'm really excited for the live sessions. Yeah. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I mean, like that's, and like you can do that yourself too. It's really not that hard. Like it's really not.
If you can do it yourself, do it. And if you need to teach yourself. Take the time to teach yourself. If you have any interest in learning how to do anything, learn how to do it because life is too short. And I'm speaking to myself once again as much as I'm speaking to any of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So touring is a goal for the next.
So touring is long overdue. I have a passport, haven't used it. I would like to play in a couple of the spots.
Did you renew mine?
I had Ireland was going to be like, I wanted to book shows out there. So I was on this site that they scammed me out of a lot of money, but it was a gig booking site and I had stuff set up, but I canceled my membership and they had me in a contract. It was, make sure you read the terms and conditions.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, back around COVID times too, actually was when I was doing all this. I was doing a lot of stuff during that time for Jules Marie because I could. And I did a lot of work. I did a lot of the groundwork and I was seeing a lot of results and I was booking shows all over the place. I played a festival. I headlined a festival. It was called Flow State Festival. It was up in Albany, New York. Or Albany, however you say it. Albany? Is it Albany? Albany.
Albany.
I headlined a show up there. I played in Boonton.
In Albany,
so, fun little story. There was a movie called Jules. It's Jules, how I spell my name. It's about this alien guy who comes down, but he goes to Boonton, New Jersey. Boonton, Boonton, New Jersey. Random spot, you would never have heard of it, but because I played there, I knew it. And the name of the movie, I saw the movie. It was great. You should watch it.
I was gonna say they don't really find a lot of UFOs around Jersey because it's not where the aliens want to land.
Jersey's a fun place. Jersey is at least it's got to be its own country. I swear to God, it is already. It kind of already is.
It is.
It's got north, south, east, west.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's like the middle is like the Mason-Dixon line. It is.
It's got its
South
own.
Is very different from the north.
Geographical, yeah. And the more north you go, you're like towards New York City. So yeah.
Also, the more north you go and west, it looks like the Poconos.
Right, it's got terrain to cover all of
Like there are parts of Jersey that are basically
and you have a
Poconos
beach.
Mountains, and then you've got pine barrens and sand.
Right. Pine barrens. I forgot about that. Jersey Devil. Shout
out to the Jersey Devil. That's the other show, the Lore Lodge. They'll be talking about him, not us.
The Lore Lodge. We love them.
So you don't have anything coming out anytime soon? Any shows you want to play?
I am playing a show tomorrow.
Where at?
My duo. That's Screwballs. That's a local bar.
Yeah, I know the owner.
Nothing big coming up. Nothing performance-wise big coming up. Just the local stuff that I've been doing. Definitely trying to book more stuff for Jules Marie as myself. And then I have a few songs that are almost finished and ready to be released. One is called Amazed. That one I've been working with Andrew Shervack. He's up in Easton, PA, which is hard to get to when you don't have a vehicle. So
hard to get to when you do have a vehicle.
He's really talented though. So he's working on one of my songs. And then I did just start working on a song called Nightmare. And then there's a song called 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, like counting. That was produced a long time ago that needs to get reproduced because it just does. And that'll hopefully be coming out soon too. So there are songs. We'll see what comes first.
Hell yeah.
I'm not going to put a deadline on myself anymore because every time I put a deadline, it doesn't happen. So I'm not going to promise anything. I'm just going to do it. It'll be one of those things where it'll just happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Any shout outs you want to give? What are some local musicians you want to give a shout out to that people should check out?
Shout out Sunblind. I feel like you were fishing for that one.
I was not. I was absolutely not fishing for that.
Local musicians. I mean, there's a lot of Phoenixville local musicians. I mean, we got Tucked In with Dan Rogers. We got.
I'm gunning for them to be on.
Oh, they're doing great. They're doing really great. They're gonna be. They already are.
They're a band that I'm actually like.
Very folk niche. If you're into anything, honestly, what
kind of remind me of
Rainbow
like,
Kitten
like
Surprise,
75,
yeah, like
but also kind
all
of like
of it.
Hall and Oates, like they've got
vibes
this,
are there.
Like,
the vibes
you
are
go to
for
their
sure.
shows and there's like 21-year-old kids, and then there's like their grandparents, their parents, like they are just immensely talented, immensely amazing live, and they have these
and all very good people.
Great people. Very well written music too. Like
they're both of their vocalists. Oh my gosh, they have three vocalists. They have they all sing. Yeah. They all sing. They all play.
They're just one of those bands. Yeah, definitely check out Tucked In.
Yeah.
Who else? You, like three more.
Okay. It's hard. What genre are we?
Putting you on the spot.
I know it's fun to think about. We have a lot of musician friends.
What about Soundbank? Who plays the Soundbank?
R.I.P. Soundbank. We miss you.
Well,
Soundbank presents.
Soundbank presents.
Yes. Yeah. Whiskey Hicken Boys just came back to life. They just did their thing. Hell yeah, we love you. Denny is one of my favorite humans. Also.
Yeah, Joe Kenny plays in Dad Company with him. So like, yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Pity for the Gourd with the Aidens.
Pity for the Gourd.
Are you playing in Pity for the Gourd? Is this Aiden? Is the other Aiden?
I think I'm playing in Pity. Are
you playing for Pity? We love that.
I don't know. I have played for Pity in the Gourd.
The Aidens. Yeah, we got Sunblind. What else? Nevertheless is my sister cover band. Yeah,
you fill in for them every once in a while?
I used to just here and there, but then also Phil used to be our guitar player.
Right.
So that was why it was the sister band. Cause
I feel like Aaron fills in a lot for them.
Yeah, I think she's like a permanent member now. I think Tom and her together. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, them, and then let's go to my Lansdale friends.
Shout out some Lansdale people.
Modern Culture.
Dave Heck, we gave them a shout out.
Yeah, that's Brad Parsons.
Oh, I'm
Brad Parsons.
The Brad Parsons.
The Brad Parsons.
I messed when I had to do a description for the Dave Heck episode. I texted and was like, give Dave Heck a description. He's like the daddy of the music scene. I should think he said father, but I said daddy.
Father, because you just like that word. You really just like that word.
I have that word.
Oh God. Let's get that low whisper that he just said.
All right, who else from Lansdale?
What's the band Chris Swanson's in? All of them.
Which one?
Studweiser. Studweiser's great. We love Studweiser.
He's in like 4 bands from Lansdale.
He's in a lot of them. We love Chris Swanson.
He also guitar techs for Say Anything with.
Does it really?
Yeah. I'm gonna I'll have Chris on some point.
Yeah, get Chris Swanson on here.
Fred Mascherino is playing in Say Anything.
Fred, shout out Fred. We love Fred.
I've known Fred for like.
Is he still doing the color Fred? He's still doing the color Fred.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, sweet. We love him.
I've known him since before he was in Taking Back Sunday.
I'll never forget when he played the basement. He played the basement and he got everyone in the basement to like stand in a little circle and like be quiet for like 30 seconds. That doesn't happen in the PJ's basement. So.
No, we played our CD release show with him.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time he played Taking Back Sunday. Tunes. Actually, I shouldn't say covers. He wrote.
I mean, the songs. He brought the songs back. Out. Yeah.
They actually like surprised us with playing like, I think they played like 2 songs from Louder Now. Yeah, because all the other guys knew it.
There's still a following for them. There's 100%.
Fred's such a good musician. He's playing. He's doing a lot of solo shows too. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well,
there you go. Local musicians.
Well, thank you for coming.
Tacos for breakfast. Jules Marie.
I'll definitely have you on as a co-host for some episodes.
Hell yeah, I'm here for it.
So yeah, so if you think of anybody that
I want to do the Celso show. They just wrapped up the Celso show.
We'll be doing the Celso show.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I like when we get to try Celso's creations.
I remember them. I love them too.
Everything. Yeah, he's a great. What is it? Mixologist.
Yes. Yeah. Boozy mixologist.
That's right.
Actually, his show is called what's the name of his show now?
Last Call Lounge.
See, the reason why I wanted to get it right was my roommate Fudge Daddy has a Last Call Sweets and Desserts. Is the name of
your roommate is Fudge Daddy?
Yeah.
See, now you got me saying daddy like it's okay. No.
Yes, I do.
He has a name too. Kevin.
Fudge Daddy.
Heaven.
Makes booze infused fudge.
Really good.
But yeah, so I'm really stoked for Celso's show too, especially when we start doing like some of the.
Yeah, this won't be the last you see of Jules Marie behind the desk.
So today you have been listening to Jules Marie. You can follow her online. My name is Luke Eccles with Off the Record. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. Most importantly, make sure you're pursuing your dreams. Have a great day.
Good job.